Alrighty then, welcome back to the rest of the story. Nobody really has time for breakdowns, but here we are. This Chisel Plow decided to give us some grief, and usually when this thing gives us grief, it shuts you down for a while, and it certainly has. Well, the one of the bearing holder caps actually had come loose, and the reason it came loose is because the two grade 8 bolts that were holding it on snapped off. As I was, well, that's the thing. I didn't even have it in the ground. I was literally on a headland, and I turned around, and it let loose. Well, the other three are still holding it down, so it kept that part of the bar straight. I know we're a little bit ways back, but if you look, well, right where Ryan and Hannah are working, they are just finishing up taking the other caps off. But that large pipe going across there that has the arms on the end that raises and lowers the wheels, that is bent, and you're going to be able to see that here a little bit later on. So what we're going to do is we got to take it off. We took it up to the welding shop. I got to talk to them this morning and see if they can either bend it back, because, little trivia, how many times has this bar broken already, or this happened? This isn't the first time, it's actually the second time. The last time it did it in the center, and the middle of that pipe, the bar, had a bit of a bend in it right in the center, and they were able to bend it back, and we've ran it for 2 years like that. Now, it's bent on the end. I'm not really sure if they can do anything about it. If they cannot, I'm going to go ahead and tell them to torch off there's 3 plates on here that raise and lower, and the hydraulic cylinder hooks into. I'm going to tell them to go ahead and torch it off and make me a new one. Honestly, this Chisel Plow just needs to go. It's light. It's really just built too light. On the front end there where the hitch is, I know you can't see it, but the hitch that hooks onto the tractor, and then from the tractor to where the hitch actually connects to the Chisel Plow, where the pin goes through on the Chisel Plow, those bolts are those the holes that it's hooked into are rounded out and oval shaped. So it's not like it's an immediate concern, like it's going to give us issues this year, next year, potentially the year after that, but I'm probably going to go through and stiffen them up, build up the holes again, weld them up, and go from there. Even going through and welding the shovels. Granted, I know I didn't weld them really hot and, run the risk of, well, I didn't really so much have a risk that I was worried about. It's just that I was in a hurry. Because I did run for, oh gosh, when did this break? If you guys saw my other video, when I made my last video, that broke about 20 minutes after the last video where I was talking to you in the tractor. And that was about 24, 30, about 30 hours of pretty steady running, which I got quite a bit accomplished. I'm just about done with my place, and did the math. Going at the rate that I'm able to run as far as acres per hour, it's about 25 to 30 hours worth of chiseling to do yet, which is a little unfortunate, but not bad considering we really just got going with it. But I'd like to be done because I'd like to be putting the seed in the ground this weekend. Whether or not it'll happen, I don't know. I really don't check the weather anymore. I mean, when it comes down to it, before we start running, it'll be important to at least see that we're not going to be getting any heavy rains or, heaven forbid, gully washers. So I'm really not, I think everybody's just, last year and the year before were just a little fresh in everybody's minds. There's bulldozers running everywhere, filling in ditches, and even for us, it took us about 3 days just going through and any little ditches, putting in waterways, redoing waterways, because we had like established roadways, I mean, where the grass was like 3 feet tall. I know this because we didn't even cut it yet. And when I got down to actually cut it, it had about a foot deep ditch washed down through the center of it. Not very wide, but I mean, still, a ditch is a ditch. You feel every little bump when you're riding in the tractor. So it's ridiculous. And on normal years, we'd be focusing more on planting corn or beans or Stella. And I say, really think our dogs are just abused around here, but she seems to be enjoying it. And, well, all right. Ryan, Hannah, and I, we just got done feeding chores, and we actually went across the field, and I was showing Ryan everywhere I wanted him to go through and harrow. And then Ryan is the one going through and seeding all this stuff because I'm going ahead and I'm working, well, I'm chiseling, of course, but I'm also trying to get the waterways fixed up for him so we can get him seeded down. As far as I know, that coon drill is pretty stinking awesome. The seed capacity is really nice. I mean, you fill it once in the morning, and as far as I know, I don't think we have had to fill it throughout the day. And we're putting down about 30 pounds to the acre of a grass seed mix. So, I don't know, we're pretty happy there. We got the bar off, and I think you're going to see us doing some hammering yet. Where you saw Hannah running around with the chain. She's going to hook the chain onto the middle of the bar. Ryan is going to be lifting it up with the skid steer. Now what I'm doing and holding everybody up is that there's some cotter pins that, well, it's one of the things I don't like about this chisel plow. It's held together by cotter pins and washers. And I had a case disc. I can't remember the number of it right now because it wasn't a very, positive point in my life because the disc was always giving us issues. It was held by pins, and it was kind of annoying. And it was built light. This thing is built light. But what I'm doing is I'm taking out the last of the pins so we can lift this bar off, and it really isn't that bad. We did this from start to finish. I think it was 22 minutes. I sped the video up just a little bit, but I haven't edited or taken out any of the footage. So it's currently sitting back in my machine shed. When I do talk to the welding shop, machine shop, I'm hoping they can really just bend it back. Yeah, it's not going to be true, and there's a little bit of wear on it already from the fact that it isn't running perfectly straight, but the caps are fine. We're going to go through and put all new bolts on it. I mean, grade 8, and it snapped the heads just flush. But I'm really hoping we can have this thing running realistically tomorrow. I mean, if I tell them, I'm going to tell them I want it like an hour ago, but ideally, what my current plans are is if we can get this chisel plow running tomorrow, I'll probably be pulling another all-nighter and try to be done chiseling in 2, maybe 3 days, get the last of our waterways done, get all of our chiseling done, because I want to see this tractor on the corn planter, or the planter, because it's not just a corn planter, but we want to go through and either put beans into the planter and knock out all of our beans, which we got about 3 days worth of planting, all of our soybean ground. We do have quite a bit more than last year. Gosh, I want to say close to 200 acres. I guess I haven't done the math on it yet, but we may be going ahead and just putting beans in the ground first. That way let the ground warm up a little bit. It is staying cold. It is staying a little muddy. I'm blaming it on that chopping corn head. Not saying it's that the corn head is terrible or nothing like that. I'm not being negative about the corn head. I'm talking about chopping corn heads as a whole. With the year that we had, it left a mat of material. I mean, we got quite a bit of corn residue on the ground yet. I mean, it just didn't really have a chance to deteriorate. And the problem is going through now where we haven't had a whole lot of warm days. We're actually coming out of a cold spell. And as far as like opening up the soil, it's coming up wet, it's cold. But once you get that ground open up, it dries out and it warms the soil out or warms the soil up, and it does make a really nice seed bed or warms up the ground so you can make a nice seed bed. So I'm pro tillage, even though we're doing a lot of primary tillage in the spring. I mean, we've done it my whole life. I don't remember any year where we haven't done any tillage in the spring. There's always been a little that we've had to do, and probably more going forward, because it's probably going to turn into more of a thing where, like my place, we like letting the cows out in the field. It reduces the amount of feed we got to feed them if they can graze the stalks. And really going through and chiseling my place, 2 days worth of chiseling. I mean, usually you can come up with that on most springs. But everybody's in a lot better mood, better morale. I mean, not just around here, just in general. I mean, as you guys can see, it's blue sky. It's nice out. It's a little cold recently, but it's getting up in the 50s again, and it's a little bit more enjoyable to be out and actually working on stuff. So now Hannah is being an intern. I'm trying to show her a little bit of, well, she wants to be a mechanic, from what I understand. It's what we were just talking about. She's asking me about my experience going to college, and I went for ag mechanics, and I mean, we're all going to have different experiences. The schooling was great. Everybody's on the job training varies, and mine was, maybe a little bit less than positive, but I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's situation that you go into when you're doing different jobs like that, it varies. But she wants to be a mechanic. She likes to fix things. I mean, that's exactly what she said, and yeah, I'm all for it if that's what she likes to do. I mean, I'd tell anybody that do what you want to do what you enjoy, not just go what makes you the most money. Because just because you're making a lot of money doing a job you hate, I mean, do you ever really get to live? You pretty much just exist at that point. So, and the reason the grapple bucket's down there is because I dug up a lot of boulders. And we're beyond rocks. I mean, we're talking like 2 foot round. I think it's actually behind Hannah, but one of the bigger ones is actually sitting behind her. I think Ryan dumped it out. But we probably got about 6 or 7 big rocks that if we hit them with anything, it's going to destroy them. So seems I'm the one that chiseled them up. I know where approximately where everything's at. That's why the Bobcat and the grapple bucket are down here. I want to run across the field today and pick up as many rocks as I can find. We haven't filled the sinkholes in yet, I know, but at least the field is chiseled. And we can actually go through, as far as the argument for doing soybeans, we can actually go through and get all of our soybeans seeded, and not having our corn ground chiseled up yet isn't really going to slow us down. So I don't know. I'm definitely in the mindset anymore. It's just like if it's decent enough conditions and we're able to go ahead and plant something, it's nice just to. It's a good feeling just to have it in the ground and done. So this bar took all 3 of us to get unloaded out of the truck. So looks are deceiving. It's pretty solid. And if you saw, as Ryan was pulling up to the truck, it did have a bend to it on this right side that Hannah is holding. And as simple as that, where would we be without skid steer loaders, right? I mean, I know where we'd all be. We'd all be walking around with stiff joints and wore out backs. I know this because that was my grandpa. He did everything by hand growing up, and between bad hips, bad knees, and a bad back, the guy was pretty wore out by the time he got to the end of his life, and I really don't want that to be me. So we're done. We got to find our parts, get everything put away, and head on to the next job, which was getting ground ready for seeding in the waterways. Actually, not just waterways. This farm has about 7 acres of field strips that need to be done. Look how fast dogs just get happy to see you, right? I'm surprised he didn't even want to get out of the truck. We left him in there because he didn't want out. So, all right. Thanks for sitting and listening. I'm hoping things are, well, I can't say I hope things are getting more interesting around here because they are quite interesting right now. It's just that we could have really done without the breakdown, because we'd probably be done chiseling probably later today if it was up to me. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. Take it easy. Keep in touch. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It certainly helps out the channel. Goodbye.